Shalom, everyone. These two sections that complete the Birkot Torah laws are going to sound very, very similar to Birkot Shachar, the morning blessings, with one major difference. We discussed yesterday that Birkot Torah, according to most poskim, are a biblical obligation. Ki Shem Hashem Ekra Havu Godel Eloheinu. And so when we have a doubt with something that's biblical, we are more stringent in how we act. As opposed to rabbinical, we are more lenient. So, for example, if somebody isn't sure if they lit the Hanukkah candles, then we don't. If we light them again, we don't light them with a blessing because it's a sefek d'Rabbanan. But if somebody isn't sure if he took the lulav and esrog on the first day of Sukkot, that since that's biblical, they must do it again and with a blessing, or either again or the first time. We don't know, right? So that's how we'll introduce this idea. First of all, what happens if somebody takes a nap during the day, and the second option of staying up all night. So the poskim are divided as to whether sleep is considered a break, after which it is necessary to repeat the recital of Birkot Torah. According to most Rishonim, among them the Rosh, a person's regular sleep in his bed is considered an interruption regarding Birkot Torah. The whole time a person is awake, the Torah continuously escorts and guides him. However, when a person sleeps, he ceases to think and his consciousness fades. Therefore, sleep is deemed an interruption regarding the mitzvah to learn Torah. Based on this, it is necessary in principle to recite Birkot Torah even after a nap during the day. Nonetheless, it has been customary to consider daytime sleep, even if it lasts a long time, to be temporary sleep, which does not constitute an interruption. Hence, Birkot Torah recited in the morning are also effective after a daytime nap. And just to remind us, if a person sleeps for more than 30 minutes, they have to wash their hands 3 times, like in the morning, again, without a blessing. But that's a separate law. It's just to remind that a daytime nap does have an effect on our purity and body functions. However, regular sleep at night is an interruption, and one must recite Birkot Torah after it. Therefore, one who needs to arise in the middle of the night for guard duty or any other reason and intends to return to sleep afterwards recites Birkot Torah twice, once when he wakes up for guard duty, and the second time when he wakes up in the morning. That is the practice of Ashkenazim and many Sephardim. However, there is another opinion. There are those who say that sleep is not considered to be an interruption concerning Birkot Torah, and that the law of Birkot Torah is similar to the law of Birkot Shachar, the morning blessings, which are recited once a day. Therefore, one who wakes up in the middle of the night for guard duty recites Birkot Torah after the first waking and does not recite them after the second time he wakes up, which is, I think, a little bit surprising because you would have said that the main waking up is the one in the morning. Anyway, you should ask your rabbi what is your minhag, basically, and but the majority, like I said, is to say it's twice. Again, because it's biblical and not rabbinical. And to complete this chapter about Birkot Torah, one who is awake all night, according to the Rosh and most of the Rishonim, one who is awake all night, as on Shavuot night, may not recite Birkot Torah before Shachrit, because as long as he did not interrupt by sleeping, the previous day's Birkot Torah still apply. Especially on Shavuot, we learned Torah all night, so there was no interruption. Even if we, stopped to schmooze or to drink lots of coffee, which usually helps to stay awake, and most people learning Torah on Shavuot night, so this opinion actually makes sense. That is how many eminent Achronim rule. According to the Rabbeinu Tam, however, he must recite Birkot Torah before Shacharit, since Birkot Torah are intended to last, this is Rabbeinu Tam's opinion, to last for a 24-hour period, even if he did not sleep all night that whole day. When the time arrives to recite Shacharit the next day, he must recite Birkot Torah again. And that is what is said in the name of the Arizal, and that is the minhag of the Sephardim and many Chassidim. In order to avoid uncertainty, and this is always the compromise that we have, then you should It is preferable that someone did not sleep all night, hear someone else recite the Birkot Torah, thereby fulfilling his obligation according to all opinions. And so on Shavuot morning, instead of just saying Birkot HaShachar, the Chazan also recites Birkot Torah for the people who did stay up all night. If you cannot find someone who needs to recite Birkot Torah according to the minhag of the Sephardim and some of the Ashkenazim, he should recite Birkot Torah himself. According to the minhag of the majority of Ashkenazim, he should have kavanah to fulfill the obligation of Birkot Torah in Ahava Rabbah or Ahavat Olam before the Shema, second blessing before the Shema. For we have already learned in Halacha 2 that this bracha is considered like Birkot Torah, since we're first of all thanking Hashem for choosing us from all nations, and second of all for giving us the Torah. And we even ask, right? We ask Hashem to enlighten us in learning of the Torah. After praying, he must learn a verse of scripture or a Mishnah in order to join his learning to the bracha. And the Sephardi and Sepharad custom is to learn Bitum Aktoret, like Rabbi Herzl mentioned last week on Parshas Kitisa, that the Ashkenaz custom is not to say Enke Eloheinu and Bitum Aktoret every day, but the Sephardim and the Hasidim do. Regarding that same person who stayed awake all night, if he slept a regular sleep during the day prior to that, in preparation to be able to sleep, to stay up all night, according to all opinions, he must recite Birkot Torah before reciting Shachrit. See earlier in this book 9.6 for a summary of the laws concerning one who is awake all night. And so, like I said, it's almost exactly the same, with the one difference that Birkot Torah are biblical and not rabbinical, and that's why, even though we have that compromise of hearing somebody else, the minhag is to recite it again because it is biblical. So,